everyone, and welcome. It's me. It's not Wednesday. What am I doing here? Oh no. Am I early? Did something happen? No, that's not what it is. You're seeing everything correct. Yes, this is the four-letter nerd, but this is something new. Brought to you by myself and some of my best friends. This is our new anime show called My Best Friends Weebing. What's that, you ask? Well, best friends are people that you're close to throughout your lifetime that share the same goals and dreams and ideal. Actually, no, they don't even share all that with you, but they like the things that you like, and so you like them together, and it brings you together and it brings you closer. And weebing, if you're not in the anime, a weeb is short for weeaboo, is what the normies tried to call us back in the 90s, and it didn't really stick, but it did stick, but it didn't. But here we are now. My best friends weebing. So this is a show all about me and two of my very, very close friends, and we're going to talk about anime. We're going to talk all about anime, how we got here, what we like, what we don't like, who's the waifus, who's not the waifus. We're going to talk about it all. And so let me introduce you, because I'm not doing this all on my own. I've got friends with me, because it couldn't be my best friends weaving without my best friends. So I'm going to introduce to you first, all the way up from up there in Colorado. Yeah, up that part. Yeah, up there. That is Mr. Patrick 8-Bits.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Patrick. How you doing, sir?
You know, we are friends united by mutual love, but we could also be friends united by mutual hate.
This is true. This is true. We're going to have to find that one anime that we can all just dump on.
We can all agree it's trash, and you're trash for liking it. Yeah,
exactly. Your anime is trash. You are trash. So there we go. And then, of course, some of you may know this gentleman here from previously. Actually, I got my start being on the internet as an elbow in the background of this man's videos. And everyone's like, why is there a random black guy's elbow in your video? And I slowly made my way to on the screen. And here we are. This led to that, and that led to this. And this is one of my best friends that I've known for, oh my God, almost 20 years. From back in the Hollywood video days, it's Saigon.
What's up, everybody? I was tempted to just have my elbow sticking out, but I have a cat on my lap, so there's only so much I can do right now.
And there he is. And that is his co-host, Mr. Nair Lothep, a.k.a. Goose.
A.k.a. Goose, because Nyarlathotep is a hell of a mouthful when you're trying to shout at him.
Exactly.
We needed something easy.
Exactly. And fun fact, I'm the reason that they have that cat, because I have his twin brother. Oh, look, there he is right there. Hi. Yes, I'm talking about you. Hi. That is Mr. Tipper over there. Hi.
Reggie, yeah, supplier of giant cats.
Yeah. It happens. But it's not my fault. I didn't plan on the kittens happening. It happened. And your woman wanted another cat, maybe. And I'm like, hey, we have another cat, maybe. And y'all caved.
You bring a kitten in front of us, it's really hard to say no to it.
This is true. This is true. All right. So, gentlemen, today we shall be talking about what got us into anime. And so this is just literally just the About Us episode. So everyone can get to know us and see what we like, so they can tell us that our opinions are trash. But that's okay. All right, so who would like to go first?
I'd like to ask a philosophical question.
Philosophical.
What is a weeb?
I answered that at the top of the show, sir. Would you like
I heard you try. I take issue with your definition.
Oh,
so I'm going to pass it over to Steve. How do you define a weeb?
The way I define weeb, and this is based on my own timeline of familiarity with the term, was originally everyone was using otaku as kind of a derogatory slur for anime fans and fans of Japanese culture. And then basically all the otaku were like, yeah, I am. So they looked for something else, and weeaboo made sense. And then, all the otaku are like, yeah, okay. So it seems to be a really hard community to insult with a single word, right? Because they just latch onto it immediately.
Exactly. Another one that they tried is when people learned what it was hikikimori, and a lot of us were like, yeah, I stay at home. I prefer not to go out. You're describing me.
This guy.
What?
That hikikomori though, that's a weird one to attribute to that, because that's a very like Japan specific problem.
It is, and you know, when you're trying to insult a group of people, you try to go and find things. They went to the source, like what do they call these people, and they threw that. So we're like, oh yeah, we've known about that. That's nothing new. But
Yeah. Some of them are like life goals,
right? I don't have to go outside and talk to people. Yes.
Yeah.
But
So,
we're okay with that.
Reggie, who was the first weeb you met in your life, other than yourself, of course?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because back in my day,
oh no,
we had to get this
the
on
Gen
VHS.
Xer is talking.
So back in my day, literally, it wasn't something that you would go around talking to people about. Because when I would rent anime from the video store, they had it over by the adult section. So they knew you were looking at one of two things. If you looked old enough, you're getting adult videos. If you didn't, you're getting anime. And well, you were a little bit shunned because they'd look at you and like, ew, it's over by the adult stuff. You probably shouldn't be watching it. So it actually took a while for me to come across more otaku. I actually didn't come across more otaku until I came back to America from my last my dad's last station in Germany and high school. And who was the first? Oh, actually, yes, it was one of my other best friends and his older brother. My best friend Mike, rest in peace, sir, and his big brother, Big DJ Hoss. Shout out to you, sir. They were some of the first ones that I saw and met that were like, yeah, we're here for the anime and we like it. And I'm like, oh snap, other people that like anime. And it just grew and grew. And I'm okay with that.
That's how these things work.
I'm in trouble. I got my other friends on stream and my other friends are seeing it. Like, other friends.
This is the problem with collecting introverts. We start getting jealous of each other.
This is true. This is true. Ooh,
they're a mini painter.
They are. She just got started last month, and she's like, "I'll try it out," and she's got like 7 of them done now.
What is she painting?
Flow state.
She is currently painting the D&D dogs. She's got both sets.
Oh, nice, cool.
So she's doing that, and she's got a special project that we're not going to talk about that she's also doing for a group of friends.
Very cool. How about you, Steve? How did you get inducted into the weebness?
The best part about my story is that Pat already knows and is actually a major part of it. So back in high school, God, I might have been a freshman, maybe a sophomore at the time. There was this girl named Laura who I had a crush on in one of my classes. And I was looking, maybe shares that last name with this guy. It was Pat's older sister. And I was looking for good excuses to talk to her. And I saw that she was spending a lot of time on the computers during our art class, looking at like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon pictures. And I'd never been exposed to it before. So I asked her about it, and she told me, hey, it's my wife. My wife is saying hi.
Mary?
Hi, love.
Hi,
Mary. And she directed me towards Adult Swim and Sci-Fi Channel.
Adult Swim.
Yeah. Oh man, it wasn't Adult Swim at the time. It was Toonami.
Yeah.
Yeah. So watched a lot of anime on Toonami, and then I also got clued into Sci-Fi Channel running anime early in the morning on Sundays. Like, set your alarm clock and get up way too early on one of your 2 days off.
Yes.
Early. So yeah, got started watching those, and then I met Pat, who was like, hey, I hear you've been talking to my sister. Let's race.
And fun fact, they both take Taekwondo. So yeah.
Yeah, we've been competing with each other. You were faster than me. You were way faster than me. We've had a lot of good sparring matches in Taekwondo. You'd probably beat me soundly. if I didn't have like 50 pounds and 2 feet of reach on you. And oh man, chess club. The competition's never really gone away.
It hasn't. And then later on in his 20s, I randomly show up. Well, actually, technically, he showed up at my place of work because fun fact, when you worked retail in the early 2000s and they were doing additions to your store, they had you help build that. And I thought, oh, cool, Hollywood Video. We're getting game crazy. I'll just sit here, relax, and watch movies all night. I had to move shelves and movies and help the guy set up the chain link fence.
And you did a great job.
Right?
It'll be reflected in your bonus. Here's a Starbucks gift card.
Hollywood Video didn't have money for Starbucks gift cards.
What? No, that Upstart Coffee Company, we can't get you money there. No. No. They're like, hey, you got extra hours on your paycheck. Good job. Okay.
And that was it.
That was it. And so I met the crew over there, and me and Steve just hit it off. I don't know what happened, but we just hit it off, and it was like that.
It was Capcom versus SNK2.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god. So that's where Steven and I's rivalries come in. It's fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, the battles that we have had.
Who did Reggie main in the Capcom versus SNK?
Sagat. I don't remember who else you used. I just remember Sagat. You would run old Sagat, and anybody out there who has any inkling of the FGC and remembers CVS2 is like, oh, he ran old Sagat?
Yes, I ran
Reggie's
old
a jerk.
Yes. Oh, you're going to come at me? I got reach. Are you going to come at me? I got reach. Hey, guess what? Tiger and the It's got reach and safety. So
yeah, specifically the reason I got it all decent with my Shiranui was just to deal with your Sagat.
This is true. This is true. But I did use Leona, so there was that. But I didn't use her as much as Sagat because Sagat got me through a lot of people. A lot of people.
Haomaru. You also used Haomaru.
Yes, I did use Haomaru because people were not expecting the Eagle Strikes. And well, not sorry, that's not Haomaru, but my Samurai, yes. Because I learned to use him in Samurai Showdown. And I'm like, oh, he's in this. Let me try him. And I'm like, oh, it's the same. Let's ride.
You see this right here? That's how I define weeb. Good job, Reggie. You win.
Nice.
This counts as anime. There's a major crossover between the FGC and anime.
Yes, my name is Reggie.
That is Reggie. You're correct.
I'm Reggie. I'm confused. Why is there confusion? Haha, you don't have the button today, sir. No button for you.
There's Mayhem.
So for those that don't know, if you know Mayhem, he's on our other show and he likes to cause havoc. And well, apparently shout things at me that he thinks are gonna hurt me, but it's just a part of who I am and I accept it. But thank you. Thank you for caring. But yeah, Steven and I's biggest rivalry is Street Fighter when it's going my way, and it's King of Fighters when it's going his way. And then we're not even. He is above me in Skullgirls, but we duke it out in Skullgirls.
You put up a really good fight in Skullgirls. You're not free.
I'm not. It's like, but you give me some Street Fighter 4 and Blanc. I play Blanca and it confuses him and he doesn't know what to do.
It's the most irritating thing in the world. Yeah.
I mean, I found a love for Blanca. So when it comes to Street Fighter, it goes Sagat, Blanca, Zangief, Ken. And for 4, it's the electric girl. And I forgot her name because we haven't played it in so long because we got mad at it.
That's 5.
Oh, that is
You're
5.
Thinking of Laura.
Laura, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
we should have a tournament.
Words out there. I mean,
which one? Don't say
we play most of the fighting games, sir. So if you think you want to step,
I'll play Ultra Street Fighter 4. Absolutely. Throw me on Street Fighter 4. Throw me on King of Fighters. Throw me on Skullgirls. Please don't say Street Fighter 5.
We hate Street Fighter 5. We don't. Well, we don't hate. We have a strong disdain.
I
But of
have
course, you have to go and say one of the forbidden fruits.
a Tekken tournament.
Yeah, he's one of those.
God, I hate Tekken so much.
He's one of those.
I hate Tekken so much. I hate that we keep getting Tekken games and Virtua Fighter is dead.
I know, right? I'd rather some more. Bruh, Virtua Fighter was the game. Hello, Taylor. You should not be talking to us while driving, sir.
Put your phone away, man.
Sir.
So anime,
Right? Anime.
We're 16 minutes in and already way off topic.
It happens, but that's okay. That's okay. So we want to talk about what got us into anime.
So Laura got Steve into anime. Our grandma got us into anime.
Your grandma got you into anime?
Grandma.
What?
I don't know this story.
Oh yes. So my grandma is, old school West Virginia hill folk. Died in the wool. Great. Grew up in coal camps. Awesome. And my dad, when he turned 17, joined the army to get the heck out of West Virginia. It was his best option.
Like you do. Funny story. My dad, when he when he grew up, he went into the Air Force to get out of Kansas.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Anyway, sorry, I'm interrupted. Go ahead.
So mom and dad hadn't had a vacation in a couple of years. I was 6, Laura was 7 or 8 or whatever. And so they dumped us with her grandma at the farm. And so she got an old VHS player and hooked it up to a TV and had no VHSs for us to watch. So she goes down to, they didn't have a Blockbuster. It's the middle of West Virginia, but there was a guy who would rent videos out of his like grocery store where he mostly sold cigars.
Okay.
And she rented us the amazing, the wonderful Ninja the Wonder Boy.
What in the hell is that?
Okay.
Is that what I think it is?
What?
So this is 1970s anime. I'm going to share my screen here.
Go right ahead, sir.
And for anyone who's got, free time on their hands, you should definitely check it out because YouTube is amazing. Ninja the Wonder Boy Remastered gives you the entire series in an hour and a half. The voice acting is superb. The animation is what you would expect from 1970s. And oh boy.
Talk about Astro Boy. That guy looked like Astro Boy.
I mean, it was the original Shonen Jump. I mean, they've got all the arcs. They've got all the archetypes. It is pure WTF Japanese culture from ninjutsu, finger mudra magic to hot spring scenes that are absurd. Just the right amount of ecchi for 6-year-olds. Perfect, right? And my mind was blown, and I watched that thing on repeat for a week. And thus a weeb was born. Then, of course, my sister, she paid attention and took off running. And in high school, she started staying up late, watching more TV than I did. She got me into Samurai X, and that was my first. Yeah, that was my first non-Dragon Ball anime that just really I fell too hard for. What is it about anime that makes you binge watch?
The stories and the wanting more. It's the same thing that keeps me clicking on webtoons. I need more. I want this story. This is a good story.
It's
the
stories
they come up with are just great. Granted, most of them do center around, oh, look, it's a teenager. They need to go save the world. That is one trope I am tired of, but I'm okay with it.
It was a trope I appreciated. Yeah.
It wasn't out yet, sir.
It was a trope that I appreciated a lot more when I was a teenager.
Yes.
Now I'm just desperately trying to find anime about, guys who are in their 30-somethings and married.
Right?
Those are harder to find.
By the My Uncle Isekai anime that came out a couple seasons ago.
Yes. I haven't watched that yet. I kind of
feel personally attacked.
I don't know that I want to watch it then.
It knows what it's doing. It's a great anime.
See, I like it when the anime has a sense of this is what we're doing and we're not going to take it too seriously, but have fun.
I think something else that anime was doing that we weren't getting at that age was it was telling story arcs instead of just having single episodic stories. Like all the cartoons that we'd been exposed to up to that point had a beginning, a middle, and an end in 20 to 30 minutes, and then you get thrown into anime and all of it, even the really old stuff like Speed Racer had ongoing story arcs.
Yes.
So it was nice to get that long form storytelling, and yeah, that also was a reason to watch the next episode. It was so rare to get a cliffhanger in like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like you got that like once a season.
Yeah. There's I think there's only a total of 4 multi-episode runs for TMNT. Hell, there's only like 3 for Transformers, and those are the ones that start the seasons.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, so we didn't really have a lot of long form storytelling that was marketed towards us in the 80s and 90s.
Right. And then for me, granted, back then I didn't know it was anime, but it was like, oh hey, look, there's cartoons on. And they had the genius idea back when I was a kid to look at Japan, see what they're doing, test it in America, and if it did well, let's do this. Granted, when I was a kid, all my cartoons and anime were literal commercials that were half an hour long. Like, here's a new toy, go buy it, bug your parents, kids. Yeah, get it. And so for where it started for me was right here, and everyone's gonna know this one because this is classic, because you can't help but know it, because it's freaking Voltron, bro. AKA Go Lion. And it started, and I didn't know I was watching anime when I was watching this. So I'm like, cool, this is great. And I'm like, oh, look at the monster of the week. Yeah. But even though it was still the monster of the week Sentai show, it still went and had an overarching story. Like, for real, the first few episodes, look, it's these 5 dudes. They're going to pilot lion robots. Well, 3 episodes in, that dude got captured. Well, we need somebody else to pilot the lion. The princess steps up. And now it's about the story of the monster of the week, and we got to go get our dude off the planet. And I was like, bruh, I'm all about Lance getting off the planet. Let's go. And that's what drew me back. And it didn't help that the toys were dope. So before Transformers, it was this. It was 5 lion robots that joined to the one giant robot. And if as a kid in the 80s, you didn't think that was dope, there was something wrong with you. Just saying. This was the show. And I would watch it and I'd love it. And it just drew me in. And a second one that they would show in the same block, because they're like, oh, hey, we've got this anime we've got the licensing to. This one, it wasn't as linear as this. This one was literally thrown together as a hodgepodge of, we've got the rights to 3 different anime. What do we do with it? You turn it into Macross. You turn it into Macross. And I didn't realize it at the time, but they literally went from Robotech to Robotech 2 to, oh, what the hell is the third one? And they didn't tell you that this was 3 different shows. They're like, oh, look, here's this. This one's loosely related to this. And then there's this one. And the funny part is, I like the third. Hold on, I got to look this up. I like the third one better because it was more, this happened more closer to Transformers. I'm like, oh, snap, they got Transformers that people can be in. I need these. And they didn't give us the toys, and it made me mad.
So did you ever go through a Voltron phase, Steve?
I didn't. I didn't have Voltron where I was growing up. Most of the cartoons I had growing up were, we got Thundercats, we got G.I. Joes,
sure,
we got Turtles, and those are really the only 3 that I can think of, aside from like stuff on Disney Channel.
Totally.
And that was about it.
You're too cool for that.
Right.
So have you ever gone as an adult and caught up on the Voltron to know your memes and learn your anime history there, buddy?
I was watching the first season of the Netflix Voltron, and I was enjoying it. And we were watching it with the kids, and then I don't know, something distracted us, and I kind of fell off from watching it. So my experience with Voltron is about half a season of the Netflix series.
Awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Now, when I was a younger man, I really enjoyed Highlander. So, I got Netflix as an adult. I was like, oh, let's watch Highlander. That was awesome. And it was way better in my memory than it ever was in reality. Do you think this is a possibility for you, Reggie? Are the anime tinted goggles on your face coloring this with the essence of your childhood a bit? Or do you think Voltron was actually pretty awesome and worth the watch?
I think it was pretty awesome and worth the watch. This is one of those ones where it's not timeless, but it's classic. It's not gonna super stand the test of time, but as one of the founding members of the giant robo category, shout out to Mazinger and all the guys that came along with that. It's one of those ones that for Americans that started to get into anime, this is like their first giant robo one. They're like, oh my God, it's giant robots and they fight monsters. And I think because of when it got to us and what it did, it's going to have that staying power, but not forever. It's going to get to a point where it's going to be like, oh, that stuff. But in my opinion, it's not there yet because we're now witnessing like the super golden age of anime. Now that we've got like 700 different shows coming out every season instead of 5.
There's too many.
Oh my God.
I don't even try and keep up anymore. I pick 1 or 2 a season that I'll watch. And then like when there's a kind of a dull season where there's not a lot going on, we'll go back and catch up on something that we missed.
Yeah, it's my Crunchyroll is ridiculously stupid right now. Dude, I haven't even I haven't finished the season 2 of Demon Slayer. Season 3 just finished. I didn't watch season 5 of My Hero, and it's getting ready to go to do their next movie.
God, I'm so far behind on My Hero.
Oh my God. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, there's so much to watch. And the bad part is it's all decent. Well, there's some trash, and then a lot of decent, and then there's all the good stuff you still got to watch too. And it's like, I don't have time to watch all this, but I try. I don't succeed, but I try.
I try to watch whatever is like, so I'm big on the stupid rom-coms, and I usually pick like one stupid trashy rom-com each season to follow, and then like we'll try and keep up with whatever is big, and sometimes that's great and then other times it's not. But like we didn't watch Chainsaw Man while that was airing. We just went back and watched season 1 of Chainsaw Man, and holy crap, was that really good. Like, I might start reading the manga on that one. That one's really good. Right. But at the same time, if I start reading the manga, then I'll be spoiled for really cool animated stuff later because I'll be like, oh, I know what's coming up.
Yes. Oh, and just a heads up for those watching, we're not those type of anime and manga people where like the manga's better. And let me tell you what's coming. We don't do that here. We don't. Well,
there are some where I'll disagree with you on that.
All right, yes, okay.
There are some. Most of the time, it's fine. I think there's better debates to be had.
Right. Such as Goku is going to solo everything, and he won't.
I was gonna bring up dubs versus subs.
I'm just gonna jump right into this fire, sir. I'm not gonna dip my toe into the lava stream. I'm going straight in.
I'm just gonna cannonball my way in.
Yeah, I'm just going straight in. Goku's not gonna solo everything, and guess what? That's okay. And that's what anime is about.
Pat, what's your anime hot take?
Oh, so I was trying to guess where Reggie landed on dubs versus subs. I've never had this conversation. I'm going to guess you're a 100% sub man. And then like intermittently you'll go with a dub if the wife wants to watch the dub kind of thing.
Actually, no, she likes dubs too.
Oh, you found a
Or
good
subs
one.
too.
Or-
She likes.
found
I
a
will do
keeper.
dubs.
Okay, cool.
I will do dubs like every now and again, like Bebop and Outlaw Star. Bro,
Those were really good dubs. And
that's where my
Samurai
dubs.
Champloo had another really good dub.
Oh,
Yes,
those guys put so much love into their
Mhm.
performances.
Oh yeah.
Is there an exception out there, like a dub that just beats the sub because the voice actors killed it?
Yes. It's my favorite anime, Gurren Lagann.
Oh my god, yes.
It's so much better in English. The
It
voice
is.
actors for Kamina and Simone they went 150% on their performances. They didn't hold back. And I've gone back and I've watched it in Japanese, and the characters just feel so flat compared to the American voice actors who went so much harder than they needed to.
Yes, and it was great.
Mhm.
And it's so wonderful.
Yeah, a lot of the time I'll watch stuff, subbed and dubbed, and 99% of the time I'll be like, sub, so much better, so much better. We tried watching Ranma 1/2 recently. Sub.
Don't do that.
Nope, you gotta watch Ranma dubbed.
You have to. And actually, Ranma was the first anime, once I learned what anime was, that I got into. And I was like, oh, let me do this. I like this thing called anime. I didn't know what it was. And Ranma is what kicked it off for me.
It was my first pirated anime.
Ooh, how about you, Reggie? What was your first pirated anime?
Ooh, it took me a while to do that because I'm
borrowed from Hollywood Video doesn't count as pirating.
Yeah, that's
an employee.
That's what I'm saying. It took me a while because once again, back when I was growing up, the internet was not letting you download anime episodes.
50
that was not happening when I was a kid. I would get 10-second clips, and that was it. And I enjoyed it. We had 10-second clips, and we liked it. I didn't start until like
the wife knows. Ranma 1/2 is a good dub.
So I really didn't start doing it until you guys did. And let's see, what was I getting back then? Actually, it was Ranma, because once again, one of my good friends, DJ Haas, he had the officials, and then he had the ones that were not so official. And then I'm like, cool. And I'm like, wait a minute, I got internet now. Let me go get the rest of this so I can finish up watching my Ranma. And I went to go finish watching up my Ranma.
Yeah.
And so I had to go pirate it.
So for me, Laura's boyfriend at the time was making us play a weeb-centric role-playing game, Exalted.
I was Exalted. I thought you were going to say Aberrant.
No, I mean, White Wolf made them both, but Exalted is let's make anime a role-playing game. And I was reading through the rule book, and in there they credited, hey, our system for feats or whatever that we do here is highly inspired by a few anime, and they listed out Ninja Scroll was one of them. And so I drove around to like 3 Hollywood Videos and a Blockbuster, couldn't find it. So
it was always out back then. Always.
I flew the black flag of piracy, and my mind was blown. I was not ready for Ninja Scroll, but Ninja Scroll was ready for me.
Right?
It was good. Man, talk about a compelling character. Yeah, a protag-kun who was not overpowered. Yeah.
Right? He was just powered enough, and sometimes underpowered.
He needed help from his friends, and not because of the power of friendship, but because, oh my God,
yes.
You did what?
Exactly. So you brought up Ninja Scroll, and I have to share with you nostalgia in a single picture.
Okay. I'm down.
See if it lets me share.
Ooh, Lodos War. That's a good one.
Intro by Ninja Scroll. I mean, that's an aggressive introduction to anime. Whoever was introducing you knew what was up.
There it is.
There it is. Yes. Yes.
Heavy hitting 90s nostalgia in one picture.
It was. That was that was a scene before a lot of anime, and then after that, it became who put out Ninja Scroll?
U.S.
I can
Manga
see their
Corps.
logo, huh?
It was U.S. Manga Corps. I think they changed their logo. It had the
To that
fire
cross?
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
That was still them, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it was like that one, and then I was like, oh wait, the next one, yeah.
That one, Wicked City.
I was not ready for Wicked City. I was not ready for that.
Wicked City was like the first anime that I think I saw where I was like, whoa, this isn't a cartoon.
I was a little ready for it because after Ranma, the next anime I went to, and this is when I came back from Germany the second time, I actually found Devil Hunter Yoko, and I started watching that. Yes. So just the right amount of moe, right amount of monster fighting, right amount of eki. It was good. And I was like, oh hey, yeah, I'm cool for but the level of monsters in that versus the level of monster in Wicked City, Wicked City was like, yeah, no, you're not ready for this. And I'm like, you're right, I was not ready. I thought I was, but I trooped on. I trooped on and I kept going. And because of that, and another series that I'm like, oh, because somebody, and this is the way that everyone that has seen this film has seen this film.
I know exactly what you're about to bring up.
Yeah, it's not that bad. You can watch it. Let's go. They lied to me. See, when we had Pat watch this, we didn't lie to Pat. We let Pat know exactly what was about to come.
Oh, you're talking. Oh,
yeah. Perry didn't talk to me for like 2 days after that. She was so mad. She went into it like, the first 15 minutes, she's like, wow, this really has everything. And then like half an hour later, she's like,
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Pat, you were just sitting there with your arms crossed like this.
That was like I'm taking this in. And of course, Steve and I in the back, like,
once you've seen it, you just delight in other people's reactions to it.
Are we not naming it on purpose?
No,
we can name it. It's Urotsukidoji.
I said it.
Oh. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you're Googling Urotsukidoji right now, and that's not my fault.
We warned you. It had it literally has everything.
They used to print this out at Blockbuster. They had no idea what they were giving to kids.
They did. Oh my god! Back in the day, yeah, they did not know. Late 90s, early 2000s video stores did not know. They're like, hey, that's got a cool cover. That's got a cool cover. That's got a cool cover.
Yeah, Japanese animation, that's big right now. Just rented it out.
Yeah, I'm sure some people found some things they did not need to find. I'm sure some kids got yelled at for what they rented from the video store by their parents.
Oh, well, that's on those kids. They should have immediately went into, oh, this is precious and I need to hide it from my parents mode.
Yeah, that is their fault.
You don't.
That is what you would do.
You get to the scene and then you don't keep watching it while your parents are in the house. You're like, no.
That's
later.
That's you. We should wait. Yes, and then we were all introduced to that wonderful thing called hentai. And we're like, oh, hentai, what's that? You're like, oh, that's what it's about. Okay.
It's art. How dare you?
I like how Mia told us to keep this clean. Less than an hour.
I mean, we got to talk about how we got to where we are in anime, and that's an integral part. And
Pat,
so Greg is right.
Pat, I feel like you've been driving. What are the main, the first shows that you watched that like really started to define your taste in anime?
So Ninja the Wonder Boy will always have that special place in my heart. 6-year-old Patrick will never forget. But then, Laura introduced me to Samurai X, which was great. But like the filler killed it. And it was hard to follow. I kind of fell out of love with it before I was done with the series. I asked her what was next. She introduced me to Trigun. I binged it. I didn't love it. And I took this lament to you, and I'm like, dude, I need better anime. And you recommended to me Generator Gall.
Yes.
Now, it's obscure. A lot of people won't know Generator Gall. But to this day, you can throw, the I Want Out opening song on YouTube, and I will rock out. It's just, in my soul.
I got to find a picture of Generator Gull. But yeah, that one's, it's so much fun. And it's, 12, 13 episodes, complete story, beginning, middle, end. And it has everything. It's got romance. It's got comedy. It is absolutely heart-wrenching at times. It's so good.
This is true. So Mayhem would like to know a random top 5 anime of all time. There's no such thing as a random top 5 anime of all
top
time.
5.
So, yeah.
Well, Reggie, we're gonna put you on the spot first. first 5 top ones that come to mind.
All right. So if you're going to recommend anime to a kid, let's say he's 16 years old, never seen anime, here are the 5 classics you got to watch. That's how I'm defining top 5. Are you guys good with this definition?
I'm good with that. Yeah. Somebody in their formative years, you want to recommend them something that is really high quality, but also speaks to somebody at that age, and isn't, wildly inappropriate.
And 0 tentacles, Reggie.
List just got shorter.
Okay, we got a top 4.
So the first one still stands. It's Ranma. There's very little tentacles. There's animals, but not like that.
Okay. All right. I'll allow it.
So there's Ranma, because you got to get the story-driven ones, because there is an overarching plot. Actually, there's multiple overarching plots of revenge and marriage and love and hate and who's taking over the schools. And then, of course, you got to give them Dragon Ball Z, because you got to watch Dragon Ball Z. And then
Kai or the original broadcast?
Make him watch Kai. I'm not going to make him sit there.
All right.
If someone's going to watch Dragon Ball Z and they've never seen it before, the way I recommend doing it is going to YouTube to 400 Pounds Productions. This guy has made the theatrical cut of Dragon Ball Z. He does every arc in 2 hours or less.
What? What?
The fillers cut out, the screaming's cut out, the redundant scenes are cut out, but it's all the regular voice acting and it's a contiguous story. It is the way to go. Now, Team 4-Star is absolutely amazing. And
you're not going to get the right story from that.
But if we're talking about intro to anime, you kind of want to do the classic first. And so, I mean, it's 4 movies to watch the 4 arcs, but it's 300 Pounds Productions on YouTube. Killer.
I'll have to check that out. Oh my God. I've been meaning to give Dragon Ball Z a rewatch, but every time I look at my, I have the whole damn thing on DVD, and it's a shelf by itself, and I don't want to.
You can crush a saga in a movie night, and it's the way to go. That's my recommendation.
Reggie seems like a Tenchi Muyo person.
I am a Tenchi Muyo person.
Okay. I got to stop you there.
Uh-oh.
Who's best waifu from Tenchi Muyo? I'm judging you right now.
You're really asking me
best girl from Tenchi Muyo. You gotta commit.
You already know who it is, because she's got a spaceship and she's a pirate. Like,
if you don't pick Ryoko, you pick wrong. Okay, all right.
Like, bruh, she's a pirate. I'm
not picking Ryoko.
You don't like him crazy.
Washu.
Washu. Very close second. She sometimes she'll give me the creepy older lady vibe sometimes.
That's what I'm into.
That's what okay, so Steven likes the waifus a little bit.
I have a thing for crazy genius redheads.
I'm waiting for her comment to say
Achilles heel. I was born this way.
Quite funnily, he's married to.
Picked a crazy redhead.
Okay, so we're working on your top 5 list poorly, and
yes.
I got
what did you already name?
So I named Ranma. I named
Dragon Ball.
So up next is, of course, it's a toss up. number 3 has 2 spots because they're done by the same studio and the same voice actors, and that's a toss-up between Champloo and Bebop. Because they're so good.
They fill different needs in your soul, though.
They're really
between each
they're
other.
Both in my, I own both of these on DVD, the official versions on DVD. They're in my soul. And
they're on par with each other. It's
because one's the story of 2 dudes trying to make their way through life, and one other story is about 2 dudes trying to make their way through life while trying to kill each other, but not.
I disagree. When I watch Samurai Champloo, Jin and oh man, what's his name? Mugen. They're the same dude. Huh? Same dude.
You literally just said Steven and I are the same person, and that's not true.
Yeah, Reggie and I have been compared to Gene and Mugen forever. Since Champloo came out, really.
Yeah.
They've got like a yin yang duality thing.
Yes,
like it's the same soul, different incarnation.
Order and chaos.
They're the same dude essentially. We're Spike and Jet. Yeah. If you want me to remember names, we have to podcast around 2 p.m. I lose it, man. Middle age is rough. But yeah, they're not fundamentally the same guy. It's a
well, that relationship is really different. If you want to compare the Jin and Mugen relationship to something in Bebop, then you have to compare Spike and Vicious.
Yes, exactly. Right. Okay, that's all I was trying to say. You can continue. Yeah. I'm sorry for disrupting.
The main difference with Champloo is that they took Vicious and then they made Vicious another protagonist.
Yes, they did. And so those 2 occupy that space there. So that's 3. So let's see. I need a good 4. Let's see, a good 4 spot. So actually, I'm just going to skip 4 and I'm going to go to my 5 spot, and that's got to be My Hero. I got somebody. Oh, okay. Never mind. I got you.
I didn't expect you to
My
say
Hero.
It,
something
but I'm not going to fault you.
Yeah. So you got to have something recent, I feel, because you got to give them the old stuff and then lead them up. See, Perry agrees. And so, you got to have that new, and My Hero is that one, because you got the big 3 of every generation, and Dragon Ball is that first big 3 for most people, and for this generation, it's going to be My Hero, hands down. It's going to be My Hero, because that's that one that draws you in, and it's got that super overarching story and all those wonderful stories, because you got all these kids that are trying to be superheroes, and that's what it's about, and it's so good. And I'm not caught up on it. What I've watched is great because everyone can identify with a part of Midoriya. I'm not saying everyone is Midoriya. Everyone can identify with a part of Midoriya. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see that part of you in him. You're going to be like, man,
they flush out all of the characters in the class. Like My Hero Academia is one of those anime that really puts a lot of love into all of the sub characters. So you are going to be able to identify and recognize something in there that resonates with you.
Sorry about that. So Perry does not agree with me.
No.
The crazy redhead portion. That's the genius. And she's being very smug about it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So to fill in the round out that number 5. Let's see. Actually, no, you got to. I'm thinking Akira, but no, you got to be into anime to enjoy it. You can watch Akira, but you're not going to enjoy it unless you like anime. And I can't really do that to somebody just starting out.
And Akira occupies this really weird space too, because you're getting like a very small portion of a very long story, and you're coming in like 60% of the way through. Right. And there was a lot that came before the movie, and there's still a bunch that comes after the movie.
Yes. Dude, the omnibus
it is beautifully animated.
Is what?
But yeah, weird one to try and recommend to somebody who's not already into anime.
Exactly. So they're getting in, they're getting their feet wet. Let's see. I did that. Let's see. What else do we have? I've watched so much anime. Actually, you know what? To get them in for the long haul, this is a good one. Someone said it earlier. Lodos War. I loved it. I borrowed it from somebody. I'm like, yeah, I want to watch Lodos War. This is DVDs that were this thick. And I was like, it's this long. And they're like, it's that long. And I was like, oh my God. I was not ready for that. But I stuck in with it through the long haul. And that's just, ooh, oh, wait, no. Scratch that. I'm sorry. I got to break them. Made in Abyss.
Okay. Oh,
I'm gonna give them Made in Abyss.
I can't say anything. I've been trying to get Ryan's sister to watch that by way of Ryan, but he won't do that to her because she's his sister and he loves her. I'm like, no, she's into anime. You have to.
That's what I thought about. I'm like, wait, why am I being so nice to these people? I have not broken them. Let me break them. I will give them Made in Abyss. It's new enough, but guess what? Yeah, you gonna be in your feelings.
Yeah, that's a Jesus. I would recommend a newcomer to Orotsuki Doji before I threw Made in Abyss at them.
No.
Pat, have you seen Made in Abyss?
I want you to know what anime can drive you to feel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I haven't watched season 2 yet because I'm afraid.
I mean, yeah, it'll make you afraid. It will make you afraid.
I have very well-developed self-care mechanisms. I had to get in touch with my emotions to graduate.
All right, so Pat, hot seat, your top 5.
Well, I was going to let Steve go first because our lists are going to overlap, and I feel bad stealing his thunder. But okay.
I don't think
newcomer coming in.
There's definitely 2 on mine that I see overlapping with yours.
Okay.
But you go.
So, to everyone, I recommend Bunny Girl Senpai. Now,
yes.
That seems like a strange recommendation, but for someone who's not familiar with Japanese culture and some of the weird WTF Japan moments, but also will stick around for a good Netflix series, like a general, they're bored, they put in something from Netflix on, dude, go to Bunny Girl Senpai. It'll give you everything you're looking for, plus more. It'll blow your mind. It'll get you into anime. It's great as a first exposure. I highly recommend. The music, the art, the characters, the feel, the love that went into that thing. It's a good one. Top 5 of all time. Yeah, that's a stretch, but top 5 recommendations to somebody new. I make my case. I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm usually wrong.
You're fine. You're fine. I believe in you.
So then after you've gotten the Bunny Girl Senpai experience, I highly recommend No Game, No Life. This is the one, if you're a weeb after No Game, No Life. Right? Everything.
Everybody needs that first anime that's got way too much incest in it.
I mean, there's way too much ecchi.
Yeah.
But you're still hungry for more at the end of the episode. It's great. And so it doesn't rely on the typical shonen tropes. It doesn't, have a tournament arc, but it is the tournament arc. It's amazing. Okay, great. No Game, No Life. I think everyone will find it enjoyable. It's an easy sell.
There you go.
Then Chainsaw Man. It's so damn good. It's indelible. And it appeals to a large audience. It's hard to go with something like Attack on Titan because, man, when the pro tags just lose and lose and lose to tell a good story. If you're doing Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, that's a big sell. It's a big jump. But to go to Chainsaw Man, you're in, and it gives you all the action. And it's good exposure there. Let's see. Fooly Cooly.
If
There's one.
You're going to watch it with a friend. You shouldn't be watching it by yourself for the first time because it's like poetry. You got to be in the mood. You don't even know they're talking about Game Boys when they're talking about Game Boys. Like, it's, yeah. But top 5, it's going to be an anime and you're going to watch it get introduced. You've seen Bunny Girl Senpai, so you're ready for some WTF Japan. Yes, Fooly Cooly is a good one for me. And then I was trying to think of a 5th one. I'm stalling for time. That had a really good tournament arc, because you gotta have a tournament arc if you're going to be an anime fan.
You can do Yu Yu Hakusho. They have a really good tournament.
That's the one that first came to mind when I heard tournament arc. I'm like, Yu Yu Hakusho probably has the best tournament arc. But I'm curious.
And on the side note
on that, with the tournament arc,
I will never not see Business Suit Dad as you. You are business. Like, you would be the guy with the glasses. Like, oh, it's a tournament. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I gotta go now. My wife is. I'm in trouble. I gotta go. You just soloed an entire team. Where are you going?
Home.
And I'm not gonna throw.
What's up?
Oh, it's Orpheus.
Pat is never going to get to tell us his 5th.
So I was going to say something dumb or offensive, but instead I'm just going to go straight for Gurren Lagann. Got to be number 5. One of the best of all time. It's one of the OGs. So much hype. You can't stand it. You'll want more anime after you watch Gurren Lagann.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that is a respectable list, Mike.
Princess Mononoke, that's a banger. Cowboy Bebop, it's got to be on the list somewhere. Honorable mention to Vampire D. Dude, if you got like an evening to introduce somebody to anime, Vampire D is a good call. Demon Slayer is great. I think Chainsaw Man hits the notes better, but I love it. I watched it all, and yeah. Good list. So those are my 5: Bunny Girl Senpai, No Game No Life, Chainsaw Man, Fooly Cooly, Gurren Lagann, and I think I made good recommendations.
Those are good. Those are good. Yes.
All right, you're on the hot seat now, Steve.
So. I share both Fooly Cooly and Gurren Lagann with you for very much the same reasons. Fooly Cooly is it is amazing the amount of depth that they crammed into 6 episodes.
Oh my god! I was so wanting more when I watched
episodes long, and every single episode is perfect from beginning to end. They are all insightful. They're all philosophical. The music by the Pillows.
Oh my! The music is so good.
It's so good. The way, if you've ever watched an Edgar Wright movie, like, it's that level of attention to music and choreography. Like, you take Baby Driver and then you put that same kind of care into making an absolutely weird, insane anime that's honestly just about growing up, and it's just perfect from beginning to end. And yeah, Pat, like you said, it's something you have to watch with a friend, and you want to discuss every single episode when it's over, because your first just knee-jerk reaction viewing of Fooly Cooly is, I have no idea what's going on.
What did I just watch?
I didn't realize it was about puberty until the second watch. I'm like, wait a minute. Because that last episode, it hit me. When he kissed her, I was like, oh!
Puberty. He's just going through puberty. That's the show. Like, sorry for the spoiler, but yeah. And that Perry's reaction after I showed her Fooly Cooly, and I was like, so what do you think it was about? She was like, I have no idea. I'm like, it's about puberty. She was mad. She's like, what? But if you watch it again with that knowledge, you're like, oh my god, it's just about puberty.
It's poetry. You gotta have a little bit of context. You gotta be in the vibe. But when you are, it hits, and it's a banger.
Yeah, you have to discuss it to really appreciate the amount of attention to everything in that show. There's not a wasted frame of animation in that show.
And they take fourth wall breaks to call stuff out. Like,
oh yeah,
it's amazing. Like, they really nail it.
They get weird with it. So Gurren Lagann, also got to mention it. Gurren Lagann. I had to bring up Fooly Cooly first. If there's an anime that I've watched more than any other anime, it's definitely Fooly Cooly. Gurren Lagann probably comes in second place for watched the most, but is also probably the most important anime to who I am
don't
today.
go up there.
No, he's going to go up there. There's no stopping him. He loves it up there. It's right under a vent. But yeah, Gurren Lagann, like I learned so much from Simone and Kamina's journey, just in respects to indomitable spirit. The idea that, okay, fine, everything sucks right now. It's really hard to move forward. Just move forward as much as you can. And that's all it takes. And as you move forward, your drill starts spinning, it breaks the earth apart in front of you, and you move past it. And it is so good at instilling that spirit in the viewer. Like whenever things are hard, I think about Gurren Lagann. It is that important to me.
Who the hell do you think I am?
Exactly. Yeah. And don't believe in yourself. Believe in the you that I believe in. And that's why it reminds you of the importance of surrounding yourself with great people, because even when you don't believe in yourself, people you trust, and you trust their judgment of others, they believe in you. And that carries a lot of weight. So Gurren Lagann, probably overall the best one on my list. Next up is, so this is like the one that I would just recommend first, as like first viewing, somebody who's not used to anime, somebody who hasn't been exposed to weird Japan stuff. Fruits Basket.
Ooh.
Dude. Laura
Ooh.
recommends Fruits Baskets to first timers.
Yep.
I haven't had my daughters watch that. That's an awesome recommendation.
It's a perfect one for anyone new. It's got a great cast. They're all well written. The new one follows the manga, so you don't stop just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the first
right after all the trauma, they ended that series. But the new one keeps going. I haven't finished watching all of the new one, but I did read all of the manga. So at a certain point, it was like, yes, this is exactly following it.
I did finish
but I read really fast, so I can get through the manga quick. I only have so much viewing time per week, and I know this story already. But yeah, Fruits Basket, wonderful, wonderful first-time viewing experience. Toru is a great character, and even the characters that you might initially not like eventually wind up growing on you. Even the worst character in the show, who you spend so much time hating, by the end you really begin to sympathize with them. And I mean, what else can you say about that?
That was an abusive family. That's all. That family is broken.
Generational trauma is
Right?
the term.
Right?
Yeah, the Soma family is the embodiment of generational trauma. And it really is a curse. And Fruits Basket looks at it as an actual, real, magical curse. Next up, and this one's not as well known. This is by actually my favorite director, Satoshi Kon. Perfect Blue.
Nice.
Like that Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue. So the other ones that I've mentioned they're all shows. They're all long form storytelling. Perfect Blue is a film. It's a movie. You can sit down and watch it, and it's very grounded in reality, with the exception of the main character's deteriorating mental state and the trauma that she's dealing with in her day-to-day life. I don't want to say much about Perfect Blue, except it's excellent. This is another one to watch with somebody so you can discuss it afterwards. But
agreed.
Basically, the story is about a struggling pop idol who leaves her pop idol band, because she wants to become an actress. And she leaves to start acting. It's not what she thought it would be. And then as soon as she leaves, her old Idol crew hits it big and becomes very successful. So she's dealing with a lot throughout this. And the cinematography for this being Cohn's debut movie, it is wild what he's done with color theory and shots and cuts. And it's just, it's like watching, who was the guy who directed Inception?
Nolan? No.
Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah, it's like watching if Christopher Nolan did an anime. It's so good. It's so clever. I don't want to talk too much about it. Just heavy recommendation. Also, trigger warnings. If you're uncomfortable with really any amount of assault, don't watch the movie. It is difficult to watch, but fantastic. And then the last one I would recommend is actually very recent. This came out this last year. Bocchi the Rock. Neither of you watched it?
No. I'm sorry.
What? Can there be a Bane? There's no Bane. Sorry.
I watched reviews of Bocchi the Rock. And I watched a couple of summaries and reactions, but I didn't watch it myself. Are you telling me I need to carve time in my schedule to make it happen?
That's why I didn't watch
Absolutely, 100%. Bocchi it comes from such this weird place where we've had anime where you got cute girls making a band before. And
I tried K-On! It was not my flavor.
K-On! Is I know we're doing an anime show, and I'm about to say something that a lot of people aren't going to like. K-On! Was shit.
There's another hot.
There it is. K-On!'s not a good show.
There are better choices.
Nothing happens there. Most of the time, it's not even about them being in a band. They're just friends who are doing some things. Bocchi, there's progress. There's progress both for the characters and for their band. And it gives a lot of good attention outside of the main character, Bocchi. And she is, introverts love Bocchi the Rock because they watch Bocchi and they're like, I understand. But it's not like Comey can't communicate, where it's all, she's really cute with her suffering and being an introvert. Whereas Bocchi, you're watching Bocchi and you're like, oh, she's in actual physical pain because of this. She is so awkward, but she's also trying really hard. And for Bocchi, music is that thing that she kind of latched onto with hopes of getting her to socialize, right? In hopes of having somebody come over to her and say, oh, hey, you play guitar. Like I did with video games. So she gets found just by happenstance because this band had their guitarist run off, and she kind of gets drawn into it. And she's like, and she never really had a chance to say yes or no because she stammers and she can't talk. Yes. Yes, that's a good comparison. But the other great thing about Bocchi is that the animators just get wild with it. There's a lot of very non-traditional animation that communicates her feelings. So instead of just showing her feeling awkward, they will completely change animation styles. Sometimes her animation will like clip or break. And it's so much fun to watch. The music is really good. It's just as much about their band and being in a band as it is about the title character, Bocchi, dealing with her insecurities and being painfully awkward in social situations. So yeah, both of you, homework, watch Bocchi the Rock.
I'm adding it right now. Leave me alone. There, it's on. I just put it on the list. There you go.
Yeah, and because it's also like more grounded in reality and there's actual story and progress with their band, I think that that's a really easy one to watch, because there's even if you're not an introvert, so you don't look at Bochi and you're like, oh, I understand how she feels. Everybody has an introvert friend. And when you watch Bochi, you'll be like, is that what it's like? Yes. That's what it's like.
Actually, the way you're talking about it, this made me think of another one that might be a good one as an intro. I don't think you guys watched this one, but it's like one of my favorite from when it came out, and I'm just wanting a season 2. But it is Keep Your Hands Off of Aizuken. And I love it. It is because it's very similar to this, because it's a bunch of girls that want to do animation, but they each have their own reason for wanting to do it. And it's how they make their animation club, and they make movies, and it's how they get their anime done and their struggles. And the best part to me are the main character's imaginations, because the main character, her imagination is the biggest out of all 3, and she will literally pull everyone else in and suck them into her imagination. So she's like designing a helicopter, but they're like, we don't want it to be a regular helicopter, we want it to be different. So it's literally them in her imagination, like drawing this new helicopter. You see her erase the blades. Oh, we should make it more natural. So she turns it into this dragonfly hovercraft helicopter thing, and then they go fly it through the city that she's already drawn. And it's them talking about the show and like how they're going to animate it and where they're going to do the angles. And it's just so good. I just love it when they go inside of it. And of course, they've got the one friend that slaps them out of it, like, get out of there, come back to reality, make your anime, let's go.
Yeah, quit talking about it and do it.
Exactly. And it's so good. And just like it's the anime style, it changes. It will actually change to the perspective of her drawings. Granted, it's someone that just drew it for her style in the anime, and then they just changed the whole anime to that style, but it's so good. Just the story being told is so good. Animation is so good.
It's got that group imagination process.
Yes. And it just drew me in. And at first, it was just one of those, because I always have my slice of life per season that I gotta watch. It's always cute or moe girls doing things. So, and there's always one.
Bochi, go watch Bochi.
But yeah, I'm weird that way. Like I've said on other shows, like I like shoujo manga and manhwa. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like
the art is pretty.
The art is pretty. The stories are good, and it just draws you in. And I'm like, cool, I'm here. I'm there for it. Let's go.
One of my. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw one of my old favorite shoujos is actually getting a live action adaptation, which doesn't bother me because shoujos tend to adapt really well to live action compared to
worry about
everything else. But Kimi no Todoke is getting Kimi ni Todoke. It's no or ni. I don't remember which. That one's getting a live action adaptation, and that was a really cute manga and anime, actually. It also had an anime adaptation. That one's another one about an introvert. Maybe it's just me.
I noticed the theme here, buddy.
I am now too. I didn't at first.
They like to stay inside and just do their thing.
So, got a question for you two guys. Humans love compelling stories the same way we love fire, right? Whether it's the Iliad or Beowulf or, The Bachelor, compelling stories draw people. And we love our glowing rectangles. There are plenty of mediums that tell compelling stories on glowing rectangles that aren't anime. So what makes anime even worth your time? Can't you just watch Rick and Morty if you need a cartoon fix? What's compelling in anime that you don't get everywhere else? Now, earlier in the show, we talked about how, like, if you're watching Thundercats, you don't get the story arc. You're not left on the cliffhanger week to week telling an overarching story where everything builds up and plays on its on what came before it. But what else has anime really got going for it? Why even bother?
Well, I feel like at that point you're approaching it as a genre instead of a medium. And anime is more of a medium. And I enjoy watching anime for the same reasons that I enjoy watching independent films. So you're getting a different kind of storytelling, and because it's an entire medium, you can get all sorts of different genres, all sorts of different storytelling, and you can start latching on to different studios that you know are probably going to be releasing hits like Madhouse. I can't remember the other one. There's a couple of great studios, and sometimes you'll just bounce from show to show done by a studio because they just do a great job with it and they have a particular style. Or sometimes you'll latch on to a particular director or mangaka. For me, that was Satoshi Kon. I've watched all of his stuff. I've read his mangas. I think there's like one or two things of his that I haven't tracked down. He tragically died fairly young, so he only had 4 movies, a short, one series, and then like some unfinished manga that's been collected. But it's those different types of unique storytelling that's also very different from what we grew up with. You get a lot of, I'm going to use Princess Mononoke as an example, actually. Mike, thank you for reminding me of that one. Yeah. I actually used Princess Mononoke as a subject for a paper I did in high school for my film as literature class. And it was one of the few things that I actually worked hard on in high school and very proud of, because oftentimes there's no clear villain. Sometimes you're presented with a villain early on in the story, but it takes they make a lot of effort to flesh out that villain, kind of like we're getting with modern comic book villains. We're getting a lot more characterization from them, so they become more of a character instead of just, you know, the bad guy. So you get a much richer storytelling experience, and the resolution usually isn't just defeat the bad guy. The resolution, like in Princess Mononoke, was, you know, overcoming hate and creating peace, not only with those around you, but with the natural world. And that's a kind of storytelling that we don't really get here, even with the stories that try to do that, like
Fern Gully.
I was going to say Avatar, Fern Gully, The Last Samurai, Dances with Wolves, the white savior films. So I think that's a major part of it. I am hard pressed to think of any of the best anime having like, this guy bad, go beat bad. Their journey might start off that way, but it usually doesn't end that way. And even if, you know, the story is this guy bad, there's usually a redemption arc afterwards. I mean, Dragon Ball had villain after villain after villain after villain, and Goku's friends with most of them now. Vegeta and Piccolo have some of the best character arcs in history. Right. It just, you know, it takes 20 years to get through all of it, but that's part of why we like it.
It all ends in bromance. Yeah, that's true. So I was thinking of Vampire Hunter D as one of the ones where kill guy bad must is kind of this the arc that doesn't change, but still it is about
It gets so much more complicated than that, especially near the end. Bloodlust did a great job of showing that. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Yes.
Yeah.
The relations,
what a ride Bloodlust was.
It's like, oh, that's what. Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, this is way more complicated than I thought it was.
It's like, yeah, I'm a vampire hunter. I kill vampires. Go kill that one. All right. You see the thing about that vampire.
Wait a minute. She's going with him willingly. Hang on. Something is amiss.
That's not right.
Yeah.
So, Reggie, what do you find compelling in anime that you don't get everywhere else?
It's the stories, just hands down the stories. Like I'm a comic book guy. I like they'll give you those big stories, but comic books once again are mostly the here's the episode, here's the issue, here's what they're dealing with, here's what they're dealing with. It wasn't until like the late 70s, early 80s when they decided, hey, let's just do this big overarching story. And by that time where they started doing that in comic books, I was already watching anime doing that. So I'm like, yo, this is telling me this whole story and giving me these tidbits while I'm watching about what's going on. And Facebook is always it's Facebook. It sucks. Like, come on now. But yes, it's just the stories. Like that's why I read the manga. That's why I watch the anime, and it just the stories just draw me in. Like I've watched the serials here. I've watched the TV shows and the cartoons, and they don't draw me in the way that the anime does. It's just I don't know. It's just these stories that just pull me in, and it's like when I read a book, like the series that someone got me reading. That the third book isn't out yet, still after 11 years, and I'm still waiting for the third book.
So nobody's happy with Patrick Rothfuss right now, and I'm sorry. I didn't know when Chris recommended it to me. So if you want to be mad at anybody, yell at Chris on Friday.
Okay, I will yell at Chris again. Yeah, it's just when I read books, I get engrossed, and when I watch anime and read manga, it feels the same way. Like I can watch TV shows. There are some that can pull me in a little bit. But it's not like I'm like, ooh, I need to get more. Yeah, no. Like there are very few. Like the only TV show recently that's pulled me in where I was like, yeah, let me get more. That was the Lupin the Third on Netflix because man, that was good. The live action one.
I haven't watched any
of it. It's not based on the anime. It's just based on the character.
Oh, is that the French one, the Art Thief?
Yes.
Okay, I saw the trailers for it. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched any Lupin, anything with Lupin in the name. Related or not related, none of it.
I tried Lupin. It wasn't for me. I was like, it's all right. But
apparently the one that Miyazaki did is a big favorite of everyone and commonly recommended. Okay. I hear that one a lot. If you want to try watching Lupin, is to watch the Miyazaki one.
Okay.
Castle of
Calixtro.
Is that it? Okay.
Yes. Yes, it is out. But
that's from our era of anime too, and I just never watched it.
Same here. I was just like, I don't want to watch a heist movie, but the stories just draw me in, and that's all. That's what it is. And like literally, if I showed you the list of this is so currently. If I showed you my Crunchyroll list, this is my. They don't like to talk about this, but back in the day, Crunchyroll wasn't so legal.
Oh no, that was the golden age of anime on the internet. That's what got me back into watching anime, was back when Crunchyroll was a pirating site.
Right. They don't like to talk about that. We may get in trouble. But anyway, it's your history, live up to it, own it. But that's where I watch. Oh my god.
They made a legitimate business out of it. That speaks volumes, and I think that they should.
Spotify did the same thing.
Yeah.
They didn't worry about the licenses till later, and it worked.
Right. And back then, it's just my original Crunchyroll list. It's probably on par or still greater than the list that I have now. And I showed it on an episode of our other show. I literally just scroll, and there's just so many on there, and they draw me. It's just I have so many. It's just because I want those stories. Every story is unique. It's the same genre, but they're going to tell the story in a different way, and I get to see the way that they're going to tell the story, and I like it. And I want to see everyone's version of this story if I think it's good. And that's what it is. Same tropes, different uses. Who's going to use it in a way that I like? And that's what anime does for me. It's like, trope, I'm going to watch it.
So for me, it's I really have a hard time reading fiction. Like it has to be the right novel. A lot of fiction is so hard for me to buy in because the characters are doing obviously stupid things. It's like, why are you so obviously stupid? Can't you see the archetype you are and the story you're in and how this is going to end. And what happens for me in anime is I can't predict what the characters are going to do, and I can't predict where the stories are going to go. And they have such cool, hot new spins and takes on all the archetypes and how they play together that they can tell compelling stories that actually hook me and I find interesting. I mean, like when my kids were little, I tried reading them the King Arthur stories, do a King Arthur story a night, and it's like, okay, somebody does something evil, King Arthur gets pissed off and kills them. Somebody does something evil, guess what? King Arthur gets pissed off and kills him. That's him. That's all there is there. Mm-hmm. And while we can have some fun discovering new evil things to kill, dude, anime hits it hard. They get into the soul, and it's a compelling, poetic storytelling medium, just like you guys described. I agree. That's why we're friends. We're friends by love. But are we friends mutually hating anything?
Probably. We'll save that for another episode, though.
I was about to drop another hot take.
Save that hot take, sir. We need to bring these people back. We got to reel them in. And then
for the next episode, or like?
I mean, we can do anime hot takes for the next episode because we got hot takes.
Or just give them something to yell at me about for the next week or two before the next episode.
I mean, what? Go ahead, drop that hot take. Let's get that hot take real quick.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? This
give them
me subscribers on my channel.
so just give them that top layer, and then we'll just go in depth into it on another episode. It's like, here's a hot take, and then we're just gonna stop it right there.
I'm gonna whisper a little bit, so they have to lean in. Yoko Taro is a shit writer, and Nier Automata is one of the worst things that ever happened to me.
As his best friend and former roommate, I can attest to that. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it right there. Thank you for watching. This is my best friend's weaving. It is a Hydro Geek X Unlimited.
Send me your hate.
Right there. His name is Steven, a.k.a.
Sucking Cat on YouTube.
You can find my elbow in some of the videos.
Not me. I'm everyone's friend.
And then we got Pat up there, Mr. Patrick 8-Bits. Oh, wait, we're being yelled. Wait, whoa, hold up.
Wait, we gotta wait. We gotta wait from Ray. Rayanne.
Wait. Go ahead, Ray. Why are we waiting? We will wait for you, ma'am.
50-50 yelling at me about Nier.
If it is, kill the stream. We got to pull the bandit.
Oh, she missed the intro.
Oh, okay. You missed the intro. Okay.
So we talked about. We can go over it real quick. Let's go in chronological order. So
I met Pat in high school because I had a crush on his sister.
Yeah.
And then later on,
romance with me because I'm better.
And then later on, I was working at the Game Crazy, connected to Reggie's Hollywood Video, and like all great extroverts, he adopted an introvert. And then
it turned into bromance because weebs.
Yeah, and then I introduced him to Pat.
And it turned into bromance because how could you not fall in love with those eyes?
Right. And fun fact, I always win the chicken. Always. I push it too far and I make it weird.
Perry doesn't let me play anymore.
She does not. She does not.
There's no more gay chicken.
No, there is not. But it's okay. We're all still there together in spirit. But yes, that is how we met. I worked at Hollywood Video. I came across this guy that played video games as good as I did, and then found out he played some of them better.
Some of them. Cliffhanger. I already gave the cliffhanger.
We did.
It's that Nier is shit. And it has an anime now that I can't decide if I want to watch to see if it's just the shit as the game.
I feel you, because watching you play that makes me feel the same way. Right? But we're gonna end it there.
We're gonna end it there.
Right down there. Psych and Cat, YouTube. Of course, and I was the host of the first show. You're the ever-living Raw Sun God. Thank you for watching, everyone. We will be back next week. Will it be the hot takes? Will it be our top picks? Tune in next week to find out. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.